Hello, it's Andy with Mountain Computers, the Go Green PC tune-up guy. Today is June 21st, and I want to share with you something that, I don't know, it's been going on, I don't know, since 1995, 97, and it has to do with DNS, Domain Name Services, okay? So, in 1997-98, I started managing and helping support as a NOC manager, Network Operations Manager, for a couple ISPs, Internet Service Providers. That was up in Winnemucca, and we had 5 POPs, and our upline, our upstream provider, was here in Reno. It was Aztec Cyberspace. And we just had a T1 from Winnemucca up, and behind that we had about, I think, 22 to 2,400 customers on dial-up. Well, the moral of the story was I needed to manage the DNS service on one of 3-4 servers. And we were using NT, what were we using? NT server, can't remember which one it was. I think it was 3.5, 4.0, something like that. Anyhow, I was using DNS bind 495, 4.9.5. And what I want to show you today is the fact that I run Linux Mint, and here I'll just show you. Linux Mint. So, let's see. Let's get this to where the screen looks okay. So, uname /a. Okay, so I'm running Ubuntu 18.04 on Linux Mint 19.3. It's Trisha. It's 64-bit. I'm on my AMD 3950X computer. So, what am I going to do? Oh, let's just talk about NSLookup. So, NSLookup. Now, Linux Mint has what's called a DNS stub service, and I'll just say NSLookup, and I'll just say yahoo.com. Okay, so the first thing you notice is the server is 127.0053. Okay, so that means that my computer here is answering DNS queries. But who are those queries being forwarded to and fulfilled if something is not known? So, and there's a DNS cache somewhere along the line. So let's just do google.com. Okay, Yahoo looks a little crazy. Okay, that's crazy. Google, a little bit more reasonable. Let's look up one more. NSLookup. Name server lookup. Just say mountaincomputers.org. Okay, so you can see so if I was to do an NS lookup, a reverse lookup of 52.52.248.6, it says it can't be found. But it does reverse me into an address of mail.rg4s.com. So that's my reverse. That's my mail server, but it also hosts my website. So it's got several services, just a few, nothing major. So the point of this conversation is why does Linux Mint and in Windows, it's easy to manage your DNS settings. I mean, it's really easy. I mean, if I do ifconfig here, I don't see anything, right? I see my IP address, I see my subnet, I see my broadcast address, and I don't see anything else, right? So if I was to spin up, let me see here. Let me bring over System Tools. I'll bring over VirtualBox. Let me bring my VirtualBox over here. So I've got Windows 7 Pro, Peppermint, 10, 10 Pro, and Nagios. So let's bring up this one, okay? All right, let's bring up Windows 10. And a partridge in a pear tree. So as that's coming up, all right, so we're up. So let me make this to where we can see it. All right, so scroll down a little bit. So let me make it to where the screen is reasonable, to where it doesn't clip off. There we go. So in Windows, it's rather easy. Down here in the bottom right, you just click on this setting, bring up network settings, go to Ethernet, and underneath Ethernet, say change adapter options. Double click on this, and properties. And you'll see your TCP/IP IPv4 protocol is right there, IPv6. If you go under here, double click here, hello, you'll see the DNS server. I can just change that, right? And I can say answer my queries from, Cloudflare Okay, it's 111. Quad 9, which is 999. That's IBM's security stuff. Google, which is that. Level 3, which is that. And then other, that's like Google as well, a bunch of other ones. But those all change. That's really easy, okay? So if I bring up a command prompt here and I do an ipconfig, you'll see that's my IP address on my hosted virtual box. The other thing about this is that you'll see if I do an ipconfig/all, just pipe it to more so I can slow down. You can see my DNS server here. DNS server is 10.0.0.23. Now if I want to change that, it's real easy. You just go to settings here and just put in what I want to put in. So 8888. So when I am asking for solutions, see it's already done. So if I do this again, you can see now it's 8888. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Easy. Windows, easy. If we go back over to Linux, and let me minimize this, not so easy. So let me bring up my history here and I'll show you what I was looking at. So all over the internet there's different solutions on how to manage the DNS on your client PC. And one of them was to install the Resolve component. So you can see that up on 1978. You can see I've done this already, I've tried it. So I wanted to do a video on this because everybody has this text, and if you go over to all these different technology blogs, I mean it's a mishmash, but this is Linux Mint 19.3. So what I want to do is just show you what I do. So first thing was what I liked was network-admin. Network-admin, okay? So you'll see my DNS there, and that's 120. So I want to click add, right? Can't do. Oh, unlock it. So I'll just type in my password. Okay, so then I can add, right? Type in my address, right? That's easy, right? Let me just add that. Let me just add in 1111. Okay. Can I move it up? No. What if I delete that one? Lock, close. I wonder if it's that fast. ifconfig, actually no, what do I want to do? NS lookup. Let's just do Google again. Does it fix it? It sure did. So without doing the resolve.conf, I could just do network admin, net-admin. I didn't have to actually install the resolve config. Huh. That's strange, because all the documentation made it look like you had to install this, and then you had to go modify the, where's my nano? I don't see it. Oh, right there, sudo nano original. Then they said you had to go modify that. So if I do sudo app install resolve config and look at my systemd resolve d, then look at my interfaces, ll is list sudo original sudo resolve, and then restart your service, that would work. Huh. Funny how the moral of the story is I just learned you could do it that way. Huh. What if that sticks on a reboot? Only way to know is if I do reboot. I'll put this in my blog down in the notes. Does this actually work? I'm going to say it does work. It should stick. That was one of the problems that they had, was whether or not it was going to work. So this is Andy from Mountain Computers, the Go Green PC Tune-Up Guy. I just wanted to share with you, that is actually pretty cool. Never, I'll bring that over. DNS, add, unlock, type in my password. Yeah, it's like you're gonna figure that one out. Not. Quad 9. I wish I could move it. Can I move this? Just drag and drop. Drag and drop. You know, it's like doing the screen management in Personalize with window configuration. Lock. That worked. Did it immediately take effect? I don't have my network interfaces turned on or off. Let me just do NS lookup. You always have a primary and a secondary in case the primary is down. You can have a tertiary, primary, secondary, tertiary DNS servers. NS lookup, let's just do Microsoft.com. Yeah, Quad 9 is responding. Well, that's cool. Well, the point was is when it comes to DNS query security, I think it's important that we all are able to manage our DNS. Who's answering our questions? If I Google something that says, hey, I'm looking for something on OpenOffice, I'm looking for something on COBOL programming, or I'm looking for something on Fortran programming, or Visual C Sharp, or Visual Basic 6 Pro, I should be able to find it and have my queries secured, and I should know who's answering my questions. DNS hijacking, that's the biggest thing that we worry about. If your computer is connected to your router and your router is answering you and somebody hacks your router, say for instance you're saying, hey, I need to go to Wells Fargo. No, not Wells Fargo. I hate Wells Fargo. Close all of my accounts with them. But I, except one. Got to get my mortgage off them. But B of A, Umpqua, so NS lookup, let's see, Umpquabank.com. Yeah, that worked. If I say NS lookup, now normally in Windows I can just stay in that. And so do the reverse, 217.114.85.70. Did I do that right? 217.114.85.70. Nothing. It should be forward and back, should be a match when it comes down to domain authentication and reverse, forward and reverse lookups. They're supposed to work. For mail servers, that's important. So anytime you have a primary server that does multiple services, you're going to have your forward and your reverse on your mail domain versus your www. It's just always forward anyhow. So is there anything else I should show you? Yeah, let's go back over to Windows for a second. Talking about DNS. Let's talk about DNS for a second. I just say NS lookup and I can stay in it. Okay, so it's answering me from 8. In name server lookup in Windows, you can change your server. I can change that server right now and say, there's some commands. Server, I'm going to switch over to 4222. Okay, so now level 3 is answering my call. So if I say mountaincomputers.org, okay, so yeah, that's good. Now, when it comes to set type equals MX, that's my mail exchanger. So if I say mountain computers, you don't have to have that fully qualified thing. It says mail exchangers mail.rg4s.com. You need to separate your main domain for your business and your mail server to be on separate domains. Don't have them on the same, okay? And there's a reason for that. It has to do with filtering, it has to do with security, it has to do with hosting multiple domains on your mail server besides your primary domain that you do for business. So if you're ever in the business of doing hosting, mail hosting, web hosting, data hosting, SQL Server, MySQL, whatever, WordPress, you name it. Any of those services that are internet facing, you need to make sure that you keep your DNS generic. I mean, rg4s.com is one of my old domains. It's part of regional for sale and Reno for sale. So what else? Set type equals name server. So who's answering my call? So domain control is GoDaddy for my domain registration for Mountain Computers. What else? Set type equals text. Those are the text records that you have. So you can see I actually have a V record for SPF1 that says where my email is coming from, /32, that's trusted. My DMARC, the abuse, blah, blah, blah. That's what you do for some things. What else? Type, text, mail, okay. So set type equals SOA. I don't know if this is going to actually make sense. That's start of authority, that's what it's called. Oh yeah, it's going to show that. It's always WAMAX. I don't know why. WAMAX. Set type equals A. It means all A records. So it says that. Anything else? Set type. MX name server. So there's only 3 ones. When I was doing bind 495, zone records were so weird, and getting reverse pointers from your upstream provider was a nightmare. Sometimes they take forever. Spectrum Charter does a pretty good job if you have a mail server on your Charter business network hosted on-prem rather than in the cloud. So they're pretty fast. They have a quick way to do it. What else? My stuff's over in AWS EC2 Cloud. I tried Azure for a while, and Azure was too crazy and stupid. AWS was much better. We did a comparison over 6 months between the two cloud providers. And yes, we have Google Cloud Provider, but they weren't necessarily in the mix at the time. It wasn't because I didn't like them, it's just because they weren't, I don't know, too much Google. Google's too much. What else? So you have your start of authority, your serial number. That's important. We always had that when we updated the zone file, we always had to automatically update the serial number. Your TTL, time to live, 10 minutes. Some people used to say 2 weeks. So whenever you went to move a domain, you had to update the zone record to where the default time to live on the domain and all the records inside it had to be less than 10 minutes or an hour, 5 minutes. Usually they consider anything less than like 2 hours, 2 days, or whatever. It's too much chitty-chatty communication and traffic with your name server, but that's not the case anymore. If you make a change, you should only be in the dark, 10 minutes? So you have your serial number that auto gets updated every time, because that's how zone records are what do you call it, reconciled. You know, what's the highest serial number? 20, 25, 25, 01. You have your A record, you have your MX record, you have your name server record, DNS. This doesn't show for it. You have your text records. I think that's about it. So anyhow, this is Andy from Mountain Computers. How many minutes have I been recording? I can't even tell. 16 minutes? Yeah. It's gone a little long, but all I can tell you is when it comes down to name servers, yeah, you can change your server to say, for instance, I want to go 111. That's Cloudflare. That's a new one. Oh, that's funny. 1111. So if I want to look up yahoo.com, that's interesting. See how that returns back differently? All the addresses. What if I say server? Huh. 8, let's go 9999 and do the same thing. Up arrow twice. Those better match. Yeah, they match. That matches to that matches. They better match. We used to, OpenDNS was bought out by Cisco and became Umbrella. I liked OpenDNS. One free IP address. You could do all sorts of subdomains. Subdomain management was great because you could use DNS Updater to on clients to update DNS forwards and reverses on subdomains. What else? There used to be a thing called Glue, the Glue stuff. I remember some of my friends at Aztec Cyberspace, Nick and Josh. They were geniuses. They still are. I wish I knew where they were, but they went over to where was it? 12 Forces North America, and I was the NOC manager there at Redundant Networks for a time, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. I can't remember, but and that was down in the Reno Tahoe Technical Center. I was their NOC manager, and we had 12,000 square feet raised space with dual mesh node, bi-coastal, Raleigh, North Carolina, Triangle Research, with Reno Tahoe Tech Center. We had a dual node there. It was great. And Josh and Nick, they were the gurus at 12 Forces North America. They were the network sysadmins, admins, whatever. They were cool, very cool. But did I learn a lot from them? No. They were in it full time. I mean, they were like Linux gods, networking gods, mail gods. I mean, 12 Forces North America was basically legalized mail management. I call it legalized spam, but because the Can Spam Act hadn't come out yet, I don't think. And if it did, they were trying to work around it by having legitimate, clean lists, and that's how they sold to their customers. Legitimate, clean mail lists. So it was pretty cool. A lot of traffic. What else about DNS? I think that's about it. So sorry about the noise in the background. Hopefully I don't get decimate on that. Let's see, I think that's about it for now. So anyhow, this is Andy from Mountain Computers. Like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, that's about it. Just change your stuff back to into automatic. Then I'll just ask my next hop, my network router, where things are at. It's pretty cool. By the way, if you have this, I have VirtualBox here on my Linux machine. I had VirtualBox on my Windows machine that had tons of operating systems activated, whatever. So I think that's about it. Anything more? History? No, I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just know your commands. Ping yahoo.com. See what your times are. Time to live. See what your response times are. Get to know that. Do your trace route. Know your hops. Trace route on yahoo.com. See how many hops. It's supposed to be less than 10. Look at that. 15. Holy shnikes. The goal in hops used to be 10 or less. Now this is just crazy. Yeah, I'm going through a couple routers here. 1, 2, 3 routers to get out of from my PC to Charter. There's 3 security routers I go through, so no big deal there. No surprise. And then a bunch of hops. Let's go trace route to Google. 13. Trace route. Let's go Mountain Computers. How many hops? Holy shnikes. That's a lot of hops. Oh, and then when they time out, it just means they're not responding. That's a lot of hops. It's like, how many hops do you have to go through on Charter to get out? Hop, California, and then Chicago. Is this Chicago? Illinois, yeah. And then layer 42. That's crazy. Anyhow. Know your pings, your NS, know your tools. Ping, trace route, tracer T, NS lookup. There used to be dig. If you say dig, mountaincomputers.org, dig is a command that allows you to look up. See, does this even show me what I want? No. In Windows, dig is there's a dig utility that shows you everything. I just don't know the switches probably to give me what I need. So anyhow, Andy from Mountain Computers. Like, subscribe, and share. That's it. I'm going to post it. Have a great day. Oh, happy Father's Day to everybody. Okay? Including me. Bye-bye.